Are real estate agents blackballing for sale by owner listings and fixing commission rates so that you have to pay more? CBC's Marketplace recently released a video exploring this, and I'm going to watch it for the first time and give you my reactions. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate, where I educate you all about real estate. This is going to be a different video. Like I said in the intro, I'm going to take a look at this CBC video that they just did looking at real estate practices in Canada. I have not watched this yet, so you're going to get my first time impressions on this. I'll show you clips of the video and what I think about this here. And you guys let me know what you think of this style of video if you want me to do more of these in the future. Let's get into the video right now.
Industry secret.
Your house was almost blacklisted.
Caught on camera.
This woman's not just steering, she's lying.
50 real estate agents, 5 hot markets.
Real estate agents were calling, but not to say someone wants to see your home.
No, they wouldn't offer to bring a client here.
Can you trust your real estate agent to lock the deal, or will you get locked out? You can't afford to miss your marketplace. This spring, Joanne Petit put her house up for sale in Vaughan, Ontario, without a real estate agent.
We would like to move closer to our kids and grandkids.
Her income dried up with the pandemic, so saving on fees was key.
And that's money that you'd prefer to keep in your pocket.
That's right.
Sellers here are generally on the hook for 5% commission, half to the listing agent, half to the buyer's agent.
Okay, so commissions are set by each individual agent. There is no standard commission rate. Every agent is free to set their commissions whatever you want. And you're going to notice if you look across the country, commissions do vary quite a bit, not only by the area, but also by price point as well.
On Joanne's house, that's about $75,000.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Joanne is saving on a listing agent by paying a couple of $100 to a discount brokerage, which lists her house on MLS.
And by being on MLS, buyers were going to see your listing.
Right. And say to their agent, I would like to see this house.
They've got this right. Getting your house on MLS is going to give you probably the most exposure out there. That's where the majority of buyers are going to be out looking. So this person's done a great job. They put their listing up on MLS through what we call a mirror posting, where you essentially pay a real estate company to just throw it on MLS, and then it's up to you to handle the transaction from there.
She's offering buying agents 1%, a hefty 14 grand for them. Overall, her plan to sell on her own will save her about $60,000.
This is pretty typical, where a for sale by owner is going to offer a commission for a buyer's agent to bring a buyer in and complete that transaction. I see this all the time when I deal with for sale by owners. 1% is what she is offering you as a seller. Can offer whatever you want as a commission. They're saying here earlier in the video that typically buyer's agents are being offered 2.5. So this seller is offering quite a bit less than the other listings out there would be offering that agent.
But after 6 weeks on the market,
How's it going?
Not good. Not good.
Were they calling?
Oh, they called. They called a lot because they want us to sign with them. They want us to list with them.
We're in one of the hottest buying times of all times, and the real estate agents were calling, but not to say someone wants to see your home.
No, they wouldn't offer to bring a client here.
What's going on?
I reached out to an agent and said, what is wrong with my listing? His words were, no agent is going to come. Under no circumstances, no agent is going to come to see your house.
Okay, we got to stop this right now. Anybody who's saying that nobody is ever going to show your house because it's a for sale by owner, that's just absolute garbage and 100% untrue. Agents are showing for sale by owner houses all the time. I do it on a regular basis. Okay, next point here, they're talking about how long the house has been up for sale. They're saying it's been up for 6 weeks. I'm guessing by the weather here that this video was shot in the summer, maybe early fall. But at the time in Toronto, average days on market was probably about 7 days to 14 days. That even might be a little long for a single family home. So being on the market for 6 weeks, that is quite a bit longer than the average. When I'm dealing with sellers after 2 weeks, we're gonna do a quick recap and go, okay, we're in the market for 2 weeks now. What's been going on? Have we been getting showings? Have we been getting offers? What is preventing us from selling? And are other houses in the neighborhood selling? If there's other houses in the neighborhood that are similar to ours that are selling, there's probably an issue, most likely, with our pricing.
Were you left with the impression that your house was almost blacklisted?
Absolutely. That's how it was referred to me.
You could set up a beautiful home office here.
It's called steering, when real estate agents take their buyers to high commission homes and avoid low commission ones like Joanne's.
If an agent isn't going to show somebody a house because they're not getting paid enough, honestly, that's really frustrating if that is going on, and it shouldn't be. If your buyer wants to go see a house, you should go take it to them to show them that house. Personally, I have never looked at what I'm getting paid before I book a showing on a house. It's never been important to me. I've always taken the approach that you do enough good deals and take care of people properly, and the money's gonna work itself out in the end. So I've never looked at that. If there are agents that's what they're basing their decisions on, whether they're gonna show a house or not, on how much they're getting paid, that's extremely disappointing to me. The term they use here is steering. And again, if you're steering a buyer away from a listing because it's not going to pay you enough, that shouldn't happen, full stop. But we as agents, we do steer buyers to and away from houses. That's part of what you hire a real estate agent to do. So if I have shown the house or I know that there's a problem with the house, I'll tell my guys, hey, if you want to go see it, we'll take a look at it. But I know that there's XYZ problem. Let them make the decision on that. Same thing if I think it's overpriced, I'll tell them, hey guys, I think this one is too overpriced. We could look at the other one down the street that I think is more accurately priced. When you hire a real estate agent, that's part of what you're asking them to do, is to steer you to those good houses so you make good decisions. But they shouldn't be steering you away from a house if it doesn't pay them enough in their mind.
Another thing that's been normalized, the amount real estate agents charge.
Good morning. Can I help you?
Yes, good morning.
Just check out what we find when we call 50 agents in 5 hot real estate markets across the country.
So we're looking to sell our house.
So your commission is 5% plus HST?
That would be 5%.
It's 5%.
In each province, they all charge basically the same thing.
We charge standard commission.
25% of them describe their fee as standard. Some even warn against agents who do reduce commission.
I promise you that you're going to get way less in purchase price.
The majority say they won't budge on their fee.
I do not negotiate my commission at all.
So they have phoned 50 agents from across the country. There's over 100,000 real estate agents in Canada, but they phoned 50, and that of course is representative of the entire country. I think you need a little bit larger sample size to call that statistically significant, but that's what they've done here. And they've got 5 different little markets here and 4 different pricing structures. So right off the bat, they're trying to say that commissions are all standardized, and then of course their own graph shows that they're not. To say that commission rates are standard, that would be incorrect as an agent to say, because there is no set price that commissions are X. But you could say, and maybe that is what they were saying, I don't know, it wasn't part of the phone conversation, my standard commission rate is, I use that phrase all the time, meaning that is what I charge. Doesn't mean it's an industry standard, but I do say that. And then they say everybody charges the same amount and they're non-negotiable. Last time I went to go buy milk, the price was the price. There was no negotiation on that. And if I didn't want to pay that price, I could go to the competitor, which may have had a cheaper price. So as an agent, they are free to charge whatever they want, and they don't have to negotiate on that price. It's entirely up to them if they want to do so.
When was the last time anyone successfully questioned that? Like why is it 5% and not 2%?
When was the last time somebody questioned that? Every single time pretty much that I list a house, somebody asks, are commission rates negotiable? So to try to pretend that those questions aren't being asked, that's just not true.
This is a home, it's up for sale by owner.
For our hidden camera test, we meet up with 3 agents in total.
Okay, I hope you see the problem already with this. Again, in Toronto, there's about 50,000 real estate agents, and they're gonna phone 3 and call that a representative sample size. I think we can see where this is going here real quick.
Hi.
Hi, Al.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
They all specialize in the neighborhood and come up first in an online search.
So they Googled 3 real estate agents. Doesn't appear they did any further research other than Google real estate agent in X region and phoned them up. No interviewing them. Something I suggest all the time. Interview an agent before you elect to use that agent to represent you. Get to know them. I got a bunch of questions you can ask them. Put a card up that one there. But yeah, you're just going to pick the first 3 out of the phone book basically. Not sure if you're going to get maybe the results you wanted, or maybe you do get the results you want in this case here.
This looks like quite a nice neighborhood.
The neighborhood is really nice.
All 3 are given specific search criteria that matches up to Joanne's house.
There's essentially a basement apartment.
We ask agent number 1 why he thinks Joanne's house has been on the market so long.
I think that home is overpriced. I think like that home, honestly, I think like 1,425 would maybe be my value for that home. It was listed at 1,475.
At first, he suggests it's listed too high, but soon we're talking about the commission being offered.
The for sale by owners offering 1%. Well, agents may not take their buyers to that home.
Huh.
It's just 3.
And so what does that mean for you?
You know, at the end of the day, I want my buyers. Like, I want you to have the home that you want. So I'm all in. Like, it's all good. Okay.
Bottom line, he says many agents wouldn't do this, but he will, even if it means lower pay for him.
Right off the bat here, he says, hey, I think this house is overpriced. When they ask him, okay, can we still go see it? He says, hey, I don't care if it's for sale by owner. I don't care if it's paying me 1% commission. If it's the right house for you, let's go take a look at it. That's awesome. That's the way it should be done.
An agent's duty to a client is to act in the best interest of that client.
When representing you, agents must follow the law and a code of ethics.
If you steer a client away from houses that you think would be a good fit, you are breaking the law.
Yep, 100%. You got to do what's in best interest to your clients. And if this is the house they want to go see, or that's the house they want to go buy, that's what you got to do. You got to go show them the houses, and you got to find the best house for that buyer.
I would shake your hand, but not the best time to do that.
Next up, agent number 2. And already there's a problem.
So unfortunately, we only received 2 of the confirmations. I don't know if they're having issues with confirming, but unfortunately, we don't have access to that one.
The house we can't see is Joanne's, the low commission one.
Oh, okay. Is there a reason why that?
I've been trying to reach them to see like what's the problem, is it tenants in place that you're having an issue with, but I haven't heard back from them.
Something's up here because we know Joanne's house has no tenants.
We never received a call.
She told us she called. She called and left a message.
No message was left. Because I was aware of an agent possibly calling, I made sure to be at the phone. I checked the phone for the whole day.
That's disgusting.
Is that steering?
Yes, of course that is. The vendor's saying she never even got a call, and this woman's not just steering, she's lying. She's just flat out lying.
As for the agent's mention of possible tenants,
As an agent, you would be able to read the MLS listing, and then you would know exactly whether or not that property has tenants, because that would have been disclosed from the get-go. So for her to even come up with that, that's just garbage.
So Lisa says so far, one of 3 agents has steered us away.
I think the real estate lawyer here has it absolutely 100% right. Garbage. If this is actually what happened and the agent just didn't book the showing for whatever reason, even though they were asked to do so, that's just not right, and it's not acceptable. It's not the way it should be done. And 100% right in terms of they'll know whether it's tenant occupied or not. On the realtor side of a listing, it talks about how to show the property, so who you have to contact. Are there any specific instructions in terms of time frame to show the house? Don't show before or after this time frame, or if we need to give 24 hours notice because it is tenant occupied. So all of that is upfront, easily accessible. And if this agent chose not to show it because it's a for sale by owner or they're not getting paid enough, that's really disappointing, because the buyers, if they've requested to show it, you've got to go and book that showing. And if you can't get it booked, tell them why you couldn't get it booked and be honest and upfront.
Next up, agent number 3.
Book 2 of the 3 we'd asked about. This is what she told us about Joanne's house.
Hello, Al speaking.
Hi, Al. The owner is selling the home, but I did the research on this home. The home is $200,000 overpriced. Do you want to go and see it?
Do you believe that's true?
No, I don't. I've been watching the neighborhood. I don't think I'm that far off the mark.
I spoke with the actual seller, and he's like, "No, what are you talking? I'm not negotiating the price." And I'm like, "Why, sir? It's overpriced." And he's like, "That's my price."
I know for a fact the price of the house was not mentioned. Right off the bat, she wanted to know if she was getting 2.5%. When we told her there would only be a 1% commission, she said, "I'll keep my clients to myself."
Because you weren't offering enough money.
Correct.
$14,000.
That's right. It's not nothing to scoff at.
I'm gobsmacked. Like, I can't believe that somebody would act that way. It's beyond steering. It's just completely unethical, right? Because you're not actually providing a service. You're not servicing anyone but yourself. So it's not a service industry. It's a me industry.
We push for agent number 3 to take us to the home, despite her warnings.
But it smells like a cigarette, like someone smoking inside.
And after a few minutes inside...
Look, it's gorgeous inside, and it's really nice.
But wait, she's not talking about Joanne's house. It's another listing on her phone, and in a totally different neighborhood.
That's entrance here. Here is the staircase going up. Here is an office. Here is a dining. Here is a kitchen. Amazing.
Our team was inside your house for 12 minutes. For half that time, that agent was talking about another listing.
And that's exactly what she wanted. Had they not been your staff, had it been somebody else, she would have done the same thing.
This is frustrating and really painful to watch. Let's start off at the start on this one here. The buyer's agent says she thinks the house is overpriced. I've had that conversation with my buyers before, told them, hey, I think this house is overpriced, and I'll leave it up to them whether they still want to go see that house or not. And if they do, I wouldn't be discussing right off the bat price and whether it's negotiable or not. It's just simply, is the house available? Can we see it at this time? And that's basically what the conversation would end. I would start the conversation like I do with all for sale by owners, identify myself, tell them I have a buyer that's interested in their house. Can I show them the house? 99% of the time, the seller says, yep, no problem. They want to get the house sold. So they usually have no problem having a real estate agent come in and show the house.
We're not identifying the agents captured on hidden camera because our investigation shows this practice isn't about individuals. It's bigger than that. Just hear what some of the 25 listing agents say when we ask about lowering commission for the buyer agent.
Although they're not supposed to do it, some agents may be very cognizant of what they're getting paid and push their buyer to another home.
88% give us the same warning about agents steering buyers away.
I do know people who do that. It's not right, and it's not ever supposed to happen, but it does happen.
A dirty industry secret that seems surprisingly commonplace.
I have had agents say to me, we're looking at 2 houses. They're both a good fit, but I'm definitely sort of massaging them towards yours because there's more in it for the realtor.
So whose job is it to make sure that real estate agents are following the rules?
Yeah, so you'd have the Real Estate Council of Ontario, also known as RECO. They're the ones that enforce the rules.
So they have had 3 experiences with agents. 2 of them were terrible experiences and shouldn't happen. And then they called 25 agents and are saying that this is now industry-wide practice. This is what you're going to get, and this is what you should expect to experience. I would say 28 agent experiences or conversations when there are over 100,000 agents in Canada would not be a very good sample size. I don't think anybody would call that statistically accurate. So this is frustrating to me that they're trying to say here that this is representative of the entire industry with such a small sample size that they have talked to. And then to say that they're not going to disclose names, they don't have to, but there is an entire body in Ontario. It's the Real Estate Commission there. Every province has a separate jurisdiction, a separate governing body for real estate. If you've had experience like this and you've got it on tape, a complaint should be filed, full stop. If you want the industry to be better, then bad experiences like this that are unethical and just simply not right should be reported. So I find this really frustrating that they've had this bad experience, and this type of behavior shouldn't happen and should be dealt with properly. But it doesn't appear that they're going to deal with this. They're just going to let it happen. That's really frustrating too.
Real estate agents caught on camera breaking the law.
It's in absolute contravention of the Code of Ethics.
When we're undercover posing as potential buyers, some agents steer us away.
Maybe he's dealing with difficult clients.
Now it's time to play the part of sellers.
Where should I put this plant?
Over there.
Over there? Okay.
Annette Walker is helping us with that test. Having just finished a major renovation, she's offering to help us create a dream home to see how many buyers we can attract. Got to make the place look picture perfect.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Hey, good.
You gonna take some good photos for us?
For sure. Do you think we can move this furniture?
Yeah, absolutely.
Virtual staging fills in some furniture and finishing touches, making the house look move-in ready. Total cost for the photos and to list the house on MLS, just $800. We even get our own website for that price.
How many bedrooms?
4.
Not having a listing agent will save $30,000, but we still agree to pay the buyer agent $11,000, which is 1% of the list price.
Do you think you're ready to list?
You bet. Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so they've gone out and they've got some photos done and said it only cost them $800 to put the house on the market. It almost implies that they're trying to say this is all that's needed to get a house sold. There's a whole lot more that's going to go into this when you're dealing with an agent. We're going to be talking about things that we need to do to get the house ready to be sold, things that we can do to help get it sold. We're talking about pricing strategies and what we're going to do if we get multiple offers, how we want to handle that. There's a whole lot more that goes into this than just take a few photos, put a sign up front, and call it a day. And there's far more time that's going to be happening both before the house goes on the market and after the house goes on the market, and then after the house is even sold. But as well, part of what you're paying for when you hire an agent is also their past experiences and the experience and relationships they have with other agents and being able to put together deals. It's not just the amount of time that you're dealing with them on your house, it's all of the past experience and knowledge that that agent has gathered through years of working in the industry.
This is not Annette's first time going it alone. She bought this house privately.
We all think it's a lot harder than it is. It was an easy process.
Do you think real estate agents should still exist?
I think there's a place for them, yes, for sure.
But what you're saying is you don't want to be forced to pay a certain level.
We work hard to save our money, and this is a significant amount, thousands of dollars, cost of a new car.
And she knows a fairer system is possible.
Well, I've had the experience of living abroad in the Netherlands where I knew that realtor fees were only about 1.5 to 2%. Then when my aunt passed away in Australia, we sold her 2 properties down there, and the realtor fees were only a very reasonable 2%.
In fact, in many countries around the world, sellers pay less. From Italy to Israel, South Korea to Slovenia, and many more. One reason, seller and buyer agent commissions are separate, giving each side a chance to negotiate. The same move here, experts say, could drop commissions by 1 to 2%.
You as a seller absolutely can find commission rates that are lower. There are a ton of different options available to you from companies that offer lower commission rates, or you can go the for sale by owner route like these guys are going and not have any listing commission and choose what you want to pay the buyer. So these options all exist for you already as a seller.
Canadians pay among the highest real estate fees in the world. When we put real estate agents to the test, 2 out of 3 steered us away from the low commission home we wanted to see. When we follow up, both say they didn't steer. Agent number 3 stands by her assessment the house was overpriced. But this issue is bigger than just a couple of agents, so we request an interview with the Canadian Real Estate Association. David Common calling from CBC Marketplace. We've been trying to get a hold of you, talking to some of your staff about some of the things that we found on hidden camera, what experts call anti-competitive practices, steering, things that are against the law, potentially. CREA says no to our request. What they've told us on email is that none of what we have found is under their purview. This is the agency that represents all real estate agents in this country, 135,000 of them, coast to coast to coast. Instead, they direct us to provincial regulators.
That's 100% correct. The Canadian Real Estate Association is to represent real estate agents. It has nothing to do with disciplinary action, rules, regulations, anything like that. That's entirely provincial jurisdiction. So the CBC here should have gone to the provincial regulator with their complaints. That is the proper body to regulate any sort of disciplinary action.
Since Ontario is where we found the agent steering, we reach out to Ross Romano, the minister who oversees real estate. His office tells us to take our questions to RECO. Way up there is the actual regulator, RECO, the Real Estate Council of Ontario. Now, they won't agree to an on-camera interview, but after we told them what we found, they quietly issued a bulletin to all realtors across this province, reminding them that steering is illegal and that it must stop. In an email, they also tell us to talk to, you guessed it, CREA. For Lisa Laredo and Stephen Moranis, it all falls short of protecting the people this system is supposed to be working for.
Okay, so they did go to the Real Estate Commission. They talked about what they found. They don't file an official complaint, and they say it's a quiet memo. Well, when we get directives from our Real Estate Commission, they do come in an email. That is how it's communicated to us. It's not like they stand up and do a press conference. They send us an email and say, hey guys, here's some changes that need to be made. So for example, with COVID restrictions, they would tell us, here's the new practices for showings that you're allowed to do, or we're not allowed to do open houses. It's all communicated by email. And because the CBC here appears to have not filed a complaint, they should. That's as far as RECO is going to go because the CBC hasn't given anything else to go on.
So we contacted RECO. They told us these are troubling things that you're finding, so file a complaint.
It's almost as bad as the agents, right? Like, you can't come to us for help and you can't trust these people, so you're just again in this catch-22.
Yes, file a complaint. Every single time a complaint is filed, there is a procedure in place that every one of those must be dealt with. You have it on tape, CBC, that you have agents not acting ethically, breaking the law potentially, or absolutely contravening ethics and professional standards, so file a complaint. These agents are not going to get dealt with if they don't have complaints filed against them, and the system isn't going to change. It isn't going to get better if you don't file complaints. You just throw up your hands and say, oh, well, nothing's going to change. Yes, things will change. If you file a complaint and this gets dealt with accordingly, agents get fined or fired, then this stuff won't happen if it is an epidemic problem. But if you do nothing about it when you have it on tape, nothing's going to change.
And remember that house we listed ourselves? After a week on the market, Annette receives calls from 3 agents interested in bringing their buyers for a commission of 1%.
My client saw it advertised somewhere and called me and said, track this down.
As they say, it only takes one buyer, so maybe that would have been enough. However, a close comparable down the street had 20 unique showings in less than a week and sold over asking just a day before our listing went up.
Okay, so they say the houses are comparable, but you notice they don't talk about the pricing between the two. Just an interesting detail that they left out here. I wonder if they were priced identically the same as well. But the one house sold right away, over asking, and the other one is still sitting on the market and isn't getting showings. Generally, when I see that, it's usually a pricing problem. But again, they don't talk about pricing, so we can't make a comment on that. It's an interesting omission they left out there.
As for Joanne Petit in Vaughan, Ontario,
You've taken the strategy to try to keep as much of the value of your house yourself to sell this home privately.
That's right.
Do you worry it's not going to work?
No. The right person is going to come along at the right time I'm very confident it will happen. I have no doubt.
And patience paid off. After 3 months on the market, their house finally sold near asking price to a private buyer. No agents involved.
Whew, okay, well, that was very frustrating. I'm glad the seller got their house sold. It sounds like everything worked out for them, so that's awesome. But I do find this really frustrating from one perspective. As a consumer, agents acting like this, it's incorrect, it's unethical, it could be illegal here, and it needs to be dealt with. And CBC should be filing a complaint against these agents and getting this dealt with, because it's not going to make the industry better by not doing that. They have all this evidence. It should be filed, and these agents should be dealt with accordingly. And it's frustrating when agents act like this because they make the rest of the industry look terrible, and that is not an accurate depiction in my mind of what the real estate agent in Canada or real estate industry is all about in Canada. There's a lot of really good agents that work very hard to make sure that their buyers and sellers are taken care of and represented properly. And that's what I find frustrating here, is I feel like CBC went out to make this video to come to the conclusion that they came to based on the way they present this and the things that they leave out. The fact that they've got I would consider a very small sample size, but then try to say or infer that this is representative of the entire industry, that's just simply not correct. If you are thinking about buying a house though, right here, a bunch of questions you can ask a real estate agent to help make sure you get yourself an awesome agent. And right here is the video that YouTube algorithm says you need to watch next on Bald Prairie Real Estate. As always, guys, thanks very much for watching.